All right, guys. Joe McDonough here with MMA Empire. I'm joined by a very special guest, the UFC's Gillian Robertson, the Savage herself. Gillian, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Finally got the news I wanted this week, so I got fight news coming up. So I'm happy. I'm excited.
Absolutely, as are all of us as fans. That is a killer matchup, and we'll talk about that. But one thing I want to talk about first is unlike many other fighters, unlike most fighters, you had a super busy 2020. I mean, you had 3 UFC fights, 2 submission underground. I think there was supposed to be a 4th UFC fight that got canceled earlier in the year. I mean, you had an insanely busy 2020. Can you recap just the whole year for you? Because we always hear about the pandemic and stopping fights, but you went through it and we're still fighting the whole time.
Oh yeah, no matter what, we're moving forward. I'm always looking to the future and trying to stay busy, trying to stay active. And luckily, being with the UFC, Dana White was taking all the extra measures to make sure that we could stay active during this time because it was such a rough year for a lot of fighters, especially on the regional scene. So I'm very thankful that I was able to have such a busy year, and I'm just hoping for a busier 2021. I want to stay active. I want to get. I'm trying to compete as much as I can, whether it's jiu-jitsu or if it's with the UFC. But I want to get as many fights as I can this year and really start to make that title run.
Absolutely, and that was my next question is 2021 going to be even more busy, and you just answered that for us. So I mean, what's the plan for 2021? Is it 4 or 5 fights, as many as you can get?
It's definitely as many as I can get. 4 or 5 would probably be ideal. I'm shooting to get those 3 wins in a row. Since I've been with the UFC, I've gotten 2 wins, a loss, 2 wins, a loss. So this year, that's the goal, is to get at least those 3 wins in a row.
The good news is that those 2 wins are coming, and then we'll get to that third. So like you said, you got fight news this week. Super exciting matchup versus Miranda Maverick, who looked great in her debut. Talk about that matchup and what excited you about that when that name was brought to the table.
Honestly, I'm really excited about this matchup because I know Miranda's a gamer like me, where she's going to always compete and always stay active, and she's in it for the love of the sport, and I respect that about her. I feel like she's kind of like my style, where we're both top-heavy grapplers. We like to sit on top, just do damage, and until we get our submissions, but I feel like I'm just that little bit better than her. But no matter what, it's going to be a competitive matchup.
Absolutely. And, something you've done throughout your career is take the toughest opponents. I mean, there's no saying no when you're Gillian Robertson. I mean, it seems like whoever the UFC brings to you, whether it is someone who's on, like a Macy Barber, and now Miranda Maverick. I mean, just these tough matchups that you, like you said, you're super excited for.
Oh yeah, I just love the game. I love to fight. I love to be able to go out there and perform. So every opportunity I'm thankful for, and I'm gonna take every single fight that's offered to me, every single one that's coming my way, because I feel like all these are winnable matchups for me. And it might not have been my day or my night though when I on my losses, but it's like I would still take those fights again.
I love that. And that's why you're such a fan favorite of the sport. People get pumped to see you fight because your game every night, no matter who you're facing. Is there pressure in this fight? Obviously her debut looked great. And with a loss, it would be back-to-back losses. Is there added pressure? Is that something that you don't even think about?
I don't even think about that. I just go in there and I try to implement my game plan, impose my will, and just fight my fight. And if I'm better, it'll show that night.
Absolutely. And, something that people forget is, I mean, you've been around UFC and UFC level talent. I mean, the Ultimate Fighter, all that stuff since 2017. And I mean, you're only 25 years old. I mean, it's kind of insane to think about how much experience. And I mean, I'd consider you a veteran of the UFC, and still here you are, only 25 years old. I mean, how much does that play into fights, and just how much you're a veteran, have that veteran savviness?
It absolutely blows my mind still. Like, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, this is going to be my 10th UFC fight. That's absolutely crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, I really, it blows my mind that I'm even here, that I'm even in the UFC. And now it's 3 years later. I've had 9 fights. And I'm just so thankful for every opportunity.
Absolutely. And at only 25, a lot of prospects I talk to are older than you, trying to make their first UFC fight or get the UFC noticed. You've been here for a while, and you've made it home, and you're staying. Talk to me about the Ultimate Fighter as we know the Ultimate Fighter is returning this season, and talk to me about your experience with the Ultimate Fighter. Had Contender Series been an option, then would you have rathered that route? I mean, it seems that now Contender Series is the bigger and better option, especially when I talk to coaches and all this stuff. But tell me about the Ultimate Fighter, because it's still a great route to go.
The Ultimate Fighter was honestly probably one of the best and one of the worst experiences of my life. Like, I loved it more than anything, but I don't know if I would ever do it again. Like, being in the gym and being surrounded by like Justin Gaethje, Trevor Whitman, all his team, and then I have 8 of the best girls in the world to train with every single day. So it's like I'm being spoiled training wise. And then you go back to the house and you have no phone, no music, no books, no TV, no nothing. So you're just sitting there staring at a wall for hours. Or if you have a fight coming up, it's like you drive yourself crazy thinking about that. So that's the part that really gets rough about being in the Tough House, is just being actually at the house. But the training opportunities and just everything that I learned from being there, I feel like it's invaluable. I loved my time being there, and I'm very thankful that I was in the Tough House. But the Contender Series would also, I feel like it would have been a dope option, but I don't know if Dana would sign me off of a Contender Series. I don't got like that flashy style, so a lot of people don't necessarily like grapplers as much. I feel like so. I'm thankful for my route through the Tough House.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's funny. I just talked to James Krause, who obviously was on Tough as well. And he said the exact same thing you just started with, was saying, I loved it, but I'd never do it again. If there was an option to do it again, I wouldn't do it again. So, and for the same exact reasons. And also another thing, obviously, you're with head coach Dean Thomas, one of the best. To, like you said, you're with Justin Gaethje, Trevor Whitman, all these great coaches, but you're not with your coach. How hard was that?
It's definitely hard, but I'm ready for any circumstance. So I feel like the way Dean and I have worked, he's prepared me for any opportunity. So that was just another one of those where whether he's in the corner or not, I'm going to be ready for it. And he trusts that I'll be ready for it.
Absolutely. And, when I talked to Dean Thomas, on my podcast, Coach's Corner, he raved about you. I mean, as he should. And, he's telling me how you skateboard to his house every day for training sessions and everything. And, obviously you used to be an American Top Team with him. He decided to make that split and go down his own route, and you went with him. Have you rejoiced in that decision? And, are you glad with that decision?
I was with Dean before. He had 2 affiliate schools, American Top Team in Port St. Lucie, Florida. So that's when I started training, was just underneath him. So I wasn't at the ATT headquarters. So I followed him down to headquarters. So moving back was nothing for me. He's literally the reason why I'm at where I'm at today. When I was 16 years old, I never played a sport in my life. I volunteered with animals my whole life. And now he's taken me from that and turned me into a UFC fighter. So I owe him everything. And now that I do have all the attention from him, where it's just he works with me and Jose Shorty Torres primarily. So having all that attention just makes me see myself grow that much more. I feel like this last year has really been a developmental year for me. I feel like I've seen myself just make leaps and bounds, and especially my striking. I feel like I haven't really got to display it 100% of the cage yet. I haven't been, I guess, as confident in it in those high pressure situations, but I've just seen myself get so much better in so many areas, just having a coach watch over me constantly.
Absolutely. And like you said, you're, like we talked about earlier, you're only 25, right? It's still, it's amazing. But to have a coach like that not only work with you, physically and, with your striking, grappling, everything, but the fight IQ of a Dean Thomas, who's, done it all. Fight, commentate, coach, everything, what's it like mentally to have a coach like that, as a friend, really?
There's few coaches in the game that I would hold on a pedestal close to Dean. I feel like he's just on that next level where there's so many coaches that are just trying to teach what their coaches have taught them, where he's trying to innovate the game. He's trying to change things. So he's trying to move to the next step, because the sport is so young and it's evolving every single day. So I think it's vital to my career that I have him in my corner.
Absolutely. And, How do you see this fight playing out with Miranda Maverick in February at UFC 258? What excites you? Like you said, you're both grapplers. You both like to sit on top and create punishment. Where do you see this fight going and playing out?
Ideally, with me cuddling her throat at the end, that'd be where I'd want to go. That's my general game plan. I feel like all these girls know that I'm going for the rear naked choke, but that's usually that's my thing, and I'll get it. If I'm on top, if I'm keeping the pressure on top of you, there's no way that I'm not going to get that choke, and I'm not going to be able to get you out of there.
And with, like you said, in 2020 has been such a developmental year with Dean Thomas. With your striking, moving leaps and bounds, would you feel comfortable striking with her if that's where the fight was at?
Oh yeah, I'm 100%. I'd feel 100% comfortable striking with her if that is where it ends up. I feel like we're both grapplers, and that's probably going to be where the fight's going to take a majority of place. Absolutely.
And so, following this fight, I know, you're not someone who overlooks anyone, but where do you see yourself next in the division with a win over Miranda Maverick, who, like I said, a lot of hype around her name, big debut, all this stuff. What does this win get you?
I guess I haven't looked too far forward. I'm just hoping if I can get in and out of there, take as little damage as possible, and get back in the cage soon. That's all I'm looking forward to.
That 5 fights in 2021, and that 3 in a row. Gillian, thank you very much for the time. We all look forward to seeing you in the cage against Miranda Maverick in February.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.